In section 12.4, we're going to move on and start to talk about volume, and today we're going to talk about volume of prisms and cylinders. So the volume is the space that a figure occupies. This is a three-dimensional calculation. And the volume of a prism is the area of your base times your height. So remember that capital B represents the area of your base, and then height would be our third dimension measurement. So let's look at a couple examples with different prisms. First, we want to find the volume of the following rectangular prism. So the volume is area of your base times your height. I'm just going to pick the bottom here to be my base. So the area here would be 24 times 20 times 10 would be our height. Multiply that all together, and I get 4,800 centimeters cubed. And notice here in volume, all of my measurements are units cubed now. And that's it. Now let's find the volume of this shape. Notice here that we're talking about a triangular prism. So our volume formula is still generally the same, where the volume is the area of our base times our height. Just keep in mind here that the area of our base formula changes slightly, because now I'm doing 1/2 base times height because the base is a triangle. Looking at our dimensions here, remember that your base and height need to be perpendicular. So I'm going to do 1/2 times 4 times 10, and that gives us 20. And then that 20 times our height of 15, remember that height is the distance between our two triangles. So we end up with 300 units squared, or units cubed. Next, let's find the volume of this cylinder. Remember that a cylinder is just a prism with circles as our bases. So our formula is still the same, area of our base times our height, but the area of our base is the area of a circle. So the volume of any cylinder, that formula will just look like pi r squared times h. So here we'll do pi times our diameter here is 12, so our radius is 6. 6 squared times 13. In terms of pi, this would be 468 pi inches cubed, and as a decimal, this would be 1470.27 inches cubed. And either one of those would work as an answer. The last thing we're going to talk about is composite figures. These can get a little bit trickier. So a composite figure is a three-dimensional figure that is a combination of two or more simple figures. So in the example that we're going to look at, I want to find the volume of this object. Kind of looks like a backpack, I guess. I don't have a volume formula for this. So how I'm going to split this up is this looks like I'm dealing with kind of like half a cylinder and then a prism. So what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to look at that cylinder. It looks like our radius here is 6 because all the way across is 12. And keep in mind, I could draw my radius really anywhere. So my radius I could draw up here as well. If the height of the entire thing is 17, that would mean that just this rectangular prism on the bottom has a dimension going up to 11. Because 11 plus 6 would give us our 17. Now let's do some calculations here. So for our cylinder, I'm going to do pi r squared times our height, and then divided by 2 because it's half a cylinder. So pi times 6 squared times 4. Then cutting that in half, I'm left with 72 pi. And then for my rectangular prism, I'm going to do area of my base, so 12 times 4 times my height of 11, and I get 528. To find the area of this figure overall, I would add these together. In terms of pi, this would look like that. And as a decimal, this would be 754.19 inches cubed.